Breakfast with Pablo, weekday mornings 6 till 10 on Spirit 1260 Karatha.
Right now I'm joined with William Henzell, Australian Olympian for the table tennis. He's heading off to the 2012 Olympic Games this year. William Henzell, how are you this morning?
Good morning, Pablo. How are you?
Very good, thank you. Thanks for taking your time out. Now, you are the Australian men's Olympic representative this year at table tennis and you have been for the last two Olympics as well. Thanks for joining us this morning. You must be pretty excited about heading off later this year.
Oh, absolutely. It's been a very long preparation phase and, I can't believe it's just around the corner after so much work's gone into it.
Definitely. Now, I guess the countdown has really begun for you and your preparation for the London Olympics has certainly begun. How's it been?
It's been good. I was basically left my job about a year ago. I was working for Slater and Gordon Lawyers in Melbourne and said, look, I want to do everything I can to prepare myself best I can for the Olympics, and they've supported me the whole way through. And so I spent most of the last year in Europe just playing full-time and preparing for the games. So it's been long and grueling running.
Now, as a non-Olympian myself, what's the Olympics like?
It is something I dreamt about from, a very young age. Since I was 6 years old, it's different to other competitions. You look down on your shirt, you've got the Australian coat of arms and the Olympic rings there, and it's really a proud moment and something that people work basically their whole lives to be a part of.
Now, how do you see the Australian Olympics table tennis being represented this year? Do you think we have a strong team?
Yeah, absolutely. I think we've got good possibilities to really cause some upsets and get some good results. Absolutely.
Okay, now going back a little bit in time, you moved away obviously to Sweden at only age 14, which was a massive move. How was that and what motivated you to move to Sweden?
Well, my coach growing up in Adelaide was actually from Sweden, and he coached me between about 8 and 13, 14, and he decided to pack up and move back home, and I just thought, this opportunity is too good not to take, and I told my parents that, this is really what I think is best for my table tennis, and if I want to have a shot to make it to the Olympics and, fulfill my potential, I think it's really important that I go overseas and try to play full time. So my parents supported me, and I stayed for 12 years, so you've got to say that was a successful trip.
Definitely. Now, you were only 14 when you went over. I bet every kid at school hated playing you table tennis at birthdays. Yeah.
I did play schools competition when I was younger, but, by that stage, by 14, I was playing 4 or 5 days a week, and I was travelling overseas and competing. So,
did you ever have a game with your friends, or did they never want to play against you?
Oh, look, I didn't play much at school because, by that stage I was, having decent senior results, and the biggest challenge growing up was beating my dad, which I finally managed to do when I was 10 or 11, and he never let me win, which I think that was important in my motivation for beating him eventually.
Definitely. Now, you played 10 years, as you mentioned, 10 years pro in Sweden, 2 years in Germany, and also in Austria. I've got to ask, William, do you have a soft spot for blonde, tanned women and beer?
Yes, how did you guess? Table tennis can have its perks sometimes, yeah.
Definitely. I lived in Germany for 6 months. It's an amazing country.
Yeah, it is good. It's good. I had 2 really good years there and enjoyed my time.
Now, I've seen you a little bit on YouTube and watch your style. Just a quick question. With table tennis players, obviously I'm not that familiar, but you stamp your feet a lot when you serve. Is there a particular reason for this?
Yeah, that's to disguise the spin that we get on the serve. We're trying to get the ball rotating as much as we can, as much spin as possible, and the ball can be spinning 100 times a second. That's how much spin we get.
Okay.
And any way we can disguise that sound so the opponent gets as few clues as possible, the better it is for us.
Now, you are a fairly ruthless player. How would you personally describe your style? And I guess, do you have a particular mindset made up for this Olympics?
My style is fairly all-round. My backhand's my strongest side. And I've got probably one of the more powerful backhands on the tour. So I try to get that as much as I can. And the mindset for London is, you've got to be going and take the bull by the horns right from the start. You can't give anything away, and you've just got to take any opportunity you get and go for your winners. If you hold back, then you will lose.
Okay, now you do have a string of achievements, such as men's silver medal at the 2006 Commonwealth Games. We're in the Olympics for the last 3 times, this time making it third. You're 9-time Aussie national singles champion, 3-time Oceania men's single champion. Which one stands out the most to you personally?
I'd say the silver medal in the singles at the Commonwealth Games was the best one for me because, my parents let me go overseas when I was young, so they barely got to see me play for a decade, and they were on the stands for all of my matches in Melbourne at the Com Games, and to have that, celebrate that with the family together was really a special moment and a dream come true for all of us.
Well, thanks, William, for joining us this morning on the Spirit Locker Room.
Thank you very much for having me.
And good luck at this year's 2012 London Olympic Games.
All right, thanks, Pablo.
Catch all the latest news, local events, sport news and gossip on Spirit Breakfast with Pablo.